Here is our video on how to create the warp on our loom. Warp and weft are words for the two different directions of strings on a weaving project. The warp is your initial vertical strings. So these strings here would be my warp strings. The weft are the strings that go back and forth, or in our case, around our loom. So we've created our loom, and now we are going to create the warp strings on our loom. I want you to look at this. If you see here, the bottom, there are no overlapping loops. It's just straight down. The top, every other prong, you see a little loop. That is really important. That's what yours has to look like at the end, and I'm going to show you exactly how to do that so that our project actually works. What we're going to end up with is a closed bottom but an open top, which creates our pouch. So that's what it's going to look like after we finish warping it. We're going to take our loom and we're going to take some basic white string. This string is going to be covered up. This yarn will be covered up, so it doesn't matter what color, but I like it to be a sturdy, plain white yarn. White because it's boring and easy to see. So we're going to take our loom and we're going to go from top to bottom. We have to measure how much yarn we're going to need. So I take my yarn, I just hold it at the top, and I'm going to wrap it down and up 25 or 26 times. You need to wrap it as many times as you have notches. I have 23 notches, so I'm going to wrap it 23 times. But just in case, I'm going to wrap a couple more times because I don't want to have too little. I don't want to have too short a piece. So I'm going to go down up 26 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Don't make it too tight because you don't want to break your cardboard. 6, down up 7, down up 8, down up 9, down up 10. Well, I already measured my yarn. So pretend you did 26. You're then going to snip at the end of those 26 loops and then unravel it. That was just your measurement of how much yarn you need. Unraveling it, you should find that you have a pretty significant long piece of yarn here. We're going to start warping our loom now. So this is the hardest part of the project. Please pay very close attention and rewatch this video if you don't get it or if you're struggling. I'm going to start by taking my string, my yarn, and I'm going to put it at the top on the very left prong. I'm going to put it down into the prong and then tie a knot on that prong. So I cross my strings. I have a long string and a short string. I cross them and then I wrap the short string around just like I'm tying my shoe, my initial knot on tying my shoe. And then I'm going to cross them again the other way and again wrap my short string and tie. So it's if you were tying a knot in your shoelace, which I hope none of you do because it's hard to get out. So that is your initial knot. It's tied onto that top loop right there. Now we can start warping. So that short string, you can just leave him, pull him out of the way. He's unnecessary. Don't trim him too short because then your knot might go away. We're going to make our warp by taking our string, starting at the top, go straight down into the first notch at the bottom. Straight down into that first notch. Now we've got a straight string down. You're going to then come up the back and go into that first notch that you were in. There's already a string there. So this is what the back looks like. This is what the front looks like. Now, at the bottom of every notch, we're just going to go down and up. Through the top of every notch, we're actually going to come forward, and then we're going to wrap around, like making a little loop, and go into the next notch, and then you kind of pull it tight. So I came up, down the front, up the back, into that same notch. So it came forward, and then I looped it around and went into the next notch. Well, now my string is out the back here. So I'm going to bring that string that's out the back down into the next notch, and I'll show you here on the back. I bring it straight down into the next notch, coming back to the front, bring it straight up. Remember, for the bottom, we go down and up, no looping. Now I put it through that next notch. It has that loop there, but I'm still going to use that notch. See how my string is pretty straight? Now that I'm on the back, I loop around, bring it around that little tab there. So every other tab at the top is going to have one of those loops. I'm going to show you a couple more times till you get the hang of it. So front, down, up the back, into that notch. I've already used that notch. It's okay, I'm using it again. Wrap it around that tab. Pull that loop tight. Now it's on the back. And I'm going to go straight down into the next notch. Straight up into that notch that I've already used is fine. I don't want to cross it over here. I just want to go into that next notch. And then I'm going to make my loop. So I wrap it around, bring it through the next notch. I'm back at the front. Down, up into that notch I've already used. Wrap it around. See, I hold that loop so that it doesn't, it's much harder to wrap it around when I don't hold that loop. Hold that loop, wrap it around, pull tight. Down the back, into that next notch, up into the same, and on the back, I wrap it around, pull it tight. Now, if you see, every other loop, I've got a loop there, no loop, loop, no loop, loop, no loop, because I'm going to wrap this one around, go into the next. Then, oh, now I go down and up, and then I wrap around. Down and up, wrap around into the next. Down the back, up the front, wrap into the next, down the front, up the back, wrap, next loop, down the back, up the front, wrap behind, I made a loop, down the front, up the back, wrap around, I made a loop. I continued that pattern. If you don't have that every other pattern, you're doing something wrong. You're gonna have to undo a couple strings and redo it. Down, up, and around, down, up, into that same hole, around. I hope by this point you get the gist of it, and if you don't, watch the video again. Keep trying to get the hang of it, because you're going to have to warp your entire loom. And it's okay if making your loom and warping it takes a whole class period. That is totally fine. It's a little tricky, and it's the first time you've done something like this. So just do your very, very best, and keep checking yourself. Is it the every other loop pattern? And then check the back. Loop, no loop, loop, no loop, loop, no loop, loop, no loop, blah, 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 blah. You should keep having that pattern all the way to the end. So I'm gonna get to my end, and then I'm gonna show you how you finish it off. And that will be all for this class. We made our looms, we measured our yarn, and now we're setting up the warp strings on our loom. Okay, my last one, I come down and up. Now I'm out of space here. So I'm gonna take, good thing I had a lot of extra yarn here. I'm gonna take that and I'm going to tie a knot right here on this last string. So I actually often just tie it to itself right here. So that means I can, I'm gonna cut my string a little bit shorter because I don't need all that extra. I can take my last string here, wrap my short string under and through the loop. And I made kind of this little loop here, pull it up tight, and I'm gonna do that 2 or 3 times to make it really secure. So under that string, and then I pull it through that hole, making this little loop, pull it up tight. I'm gonna do it one more time to make it really secure. Pull that up tight. And then I'm going to leave about 1 inch or 2 of yarn left. I don't want to make it too short or it might unravel, but I don't want to leave it totally long and hanging or it'll get in my way. All right, I have now warped my loom. Hopefully you guys will be able to finish this and get to the end knot by the end of class. If you have to finish next class, that's fine. Just try your best, work really hard, and help each other out if you need to, okay? I believe in you all. You can do this. This is the hardest part of the project. Once you get this down, the rest is a breeze. All right, good luck.